Before the world hurried forward, Rome was already ancient. Here, time did not disappear, it layered itself. Ruins stood beside living streets. Faith, trade, and memory shared the same ground. In the 18th century, Rome was not a city chasing the future. It was a city carrying the weight of every past. Today, we step inside these moments, not as observers, but as witnesses. By the 18th century, Rome was no longer the capital of an empire, but it remained the capital of memory. Before us stands the Pantheon, a monument already ancient even then. Built by emperors, reshaped by popes, and surrounded by everyday life, it watched centuries pass without ever leaving its place. Merchants crossed its square, carriages rolled by its columns, and ordinary Romans lived beneath a dome first raised nearly 2,000 years earlier. In Rome, the past was never distant. It stood quietly beside you. In the heart of Rome, power gathered not in palaces, but in stone and space. St. Peter's Square unfolded like a stage for the world, designed to embrace the faithful. Its vast colonnades welcomed pilgrims, diplomats, and rulers alike. Carriages rolled across the square. Shadows circled the ancient obelisk, and beneath the great dome of St. Peter's, faith and authority stood side by side. In 18th century Rome, this was more than a square. It was where the city met eternity. By the 18th century, the heart of ancient Rome had fallen silent. The Roman Forum, once the center of empire, became a quiet field of ruins. Columns stood broken, arches crumbled, and cattle grazed where senators once debated. Travelers wandered among the remains, imagining a world long vanished. Here, history was not preserved, it was lived among. Rome did not erase its past, it let it breathe. By the mid-18th century, the Colosseum no longer echoed with crowds. Its arches stood open to the sky, softened by grass, shadow, and time. Nearby, the Arch of Constantine still marked imperial triumphs long forgotten. Travelers walked freely among the ruins, sketching, resting, imagining the roar that once filled this ground. Rome was not frozen in its past. It lived beside it. From the fields beyond the city walls, Rome revealed itself slowly. Domes and towers rose from the landscape, not in haste, but in harmony with the land. Farmers worked the soil as they had for generations, while the eternal city watched from a distance. This was Rome before smoke, before engines, a place where history stood still, and daily life moved quietly beneath it. For centuries, this arch had watched Rome change. Emperors faded into memory, empires collapsed, yet stone still stood. Travelers passed beneath it not as conquerors,
fell off his donkey
but as
right there
witnesses.
yesterday.
Did he really?
In the quiet
Really?
Rome of the 18th
I wish I had
century,
been here to see that.
the ancient world was no longer distant history. It was simply part of the road. By the 18th century, Rome had become a museum of itself. Its ruins were no longer symbols of power, but objects of study, admiration, and memory. Artists gathered the ancient city into rooms like this,
Observe
arranging
the exquisite
centuries
detail in the
side by
drapery.
side.
Quite
To
superior
walk
to the
through
Hellenistic
Rome
style,
was to
wouldn't
walk
you
through
agree?
time itself, and to understand that history was now something to be preserved. By the mid-18th century, Rome was no longer ruled by emperors, but by memory, ceremony, and stone. The Trevi Fountain became more than architecture. It was a stage where water flowed like history itself, eternal, controlled, and impossible to ignore. Here, Rome reminded the world that even without an empire, it still commanded awe. For centuries, Rome lived by the river. The Tiber carried stone, food, people, and the weight of history itself. Castles rose, basilicas crowned the horizon, but daily life unfolded quietly at the water's edge. Empires faded, popes ruled, generations passed, yet the river kept moving, reminding Rome that time never truly stands still. Rome does not end, it continues. Stones wear down, empires fade, but the city remains, alive in its streets, its rituals, its light. These moments were once ordinary days. Now they are echoes. If you wish to keep walking through time, leave a mark and join us again. History is not behind us. It is still here.